Going on, everybody? Early Sunday morning when I'm recording this, grinding it out, just like maybe some of you were on Friday and Saturday night, and just like maybe Cuomo was as well. Been keeping an eye on this story for the past couple days. Didn't want to really get into it until there was a little more. He got me'd. Now he's been Me Too'd. We'll see if he gets Me 3'd, Me 4'd, Me 5'd, Me 6'd, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll see. Now, in the name of fairness, before we get into this, we'll take a look at another story here on the other side of the aisle. Ex-classmates of Rep. Madison Cawthorn say he sexually harassed women at the Christian college, and they were warned not to go on fun drives in his white Dodge Challenger because bad things happen. We're just going to read the headline. We'll revisit this story if more things develop. Cawthorn allegedly gained a reputation for making unwanted advances toward women when he attended Patrick Henry College for a semester in 2016. One woman said she went out for a drive with Cawthorn, and he started taking me out to the middle of nowhere while asking questions about her purity ring. Two resident assistants at the conservative religious college said they would warn young women to stay away from him. More than 20 former students told BuzzFeed they witnessed, experienced, or knew of harassment and misconduct. So more than 20 former students. The claims come after more than 160 members of the PHC community, not POC, PHC, signed an open letter in October describing his reputation of predatory behavior. Interesting that if you think about that, and if I'm not mistaken, right, he was just elected to Congress in November. So interesting timing of the letter. I'm not saying that these claims are true or not. I wasn't there. I don't know anything about this story. But the timing is always interesting, and politics being what they are, and we'll see. I mean, it is a conservative college, so that might lend a bit more credence to it. If it were just some random liberal college, like a all-female school or something like that, where those type of females were making the claims. So certainly if these are all female conservatives, then, as I said, that would certainly lend more credence to those claims. Politics, we'll get on with Cuomo in a second though, but is that political in nature? We'll see. The question always has to be asked, not because you want to disbelieve or not believe anybody, but it's unfortunate that that's the way it is in the society that we live in. Like with the Kavanaugh situation, the raging liberal Blasey Ford and her, what seemed to be an extremely sketchy story that benefited her politics being what they were. Palo Alto Bay Area liver. Cawthorn has denied ever acting in a sexually inappropriate way. The North Carolina Republican came under fire last month over his alleged role in the January 6th MAGA mob tour on the U.S. Capitol that left 5 dead, but as we know now, there's a lot of question marks surrounding those deaths. Other than Ashley, he has also faced accusations of lying about his past after claims he was training for the 2020 Tokyo Paralympic Games were disputed by athletes. Well, you know what? We didn't have the 2020 Games, the 2020 Paralympic Games. We didn't have those either. But the next time there's an Olympics Games, I'm going to be training as a powerlifter. So right now, as I'm shooting this video, you don't know it. I don't even know it. I'm training for the next Olympics as a powerlifter. You get my point? You see how easy it is to make the claim? I mean, you can claim anything, right? Now, if you're not familiar with this guy, let me show you his picture real quick, then we'll get on to Cuomo. Here he is here. If you look below down here, and I didn't know this because I just hadn't looked into the story, but it says he joined the school in the fall of 2016 at the age of 21 after his 2014 car accident and subsequent recovery delayed his college attendance, making him 3 years older than the other students. But how long has he been in the wheelchair? That's a great question. And just how severe is the disability down here? I'm not poking fun at the guy. I'm just being serious and saying if it's something severe, and I don't even know, but is there anything he really could do if he took you on a drive? Developing story. We'll come back to that, though, in the days and weeks ahead if anything else develops. Let's get on to Cuomo real quick and see what's going on there. Cuomo wanted to sleep with me, too. Second aide, 25, comes forward to claim New York governor harassed her last June at height of COVID, as he asks former Clinton-appointed federal judge to conduct review. As you know, he's in a world of hurt. The COVID, the fraudulent claims with the numbers, the allegations of him making threats towards another individual that was speaking out against him, a progressive Democrat. And the first case, obviously now, here comes a second one. Are these things true? Hard to say. Oftentimes we have situations where somebody comes forward and then you have a trail of other individuals that come forward. And I know you individuals on the right want to believe it's true. I get it. People on the left, and you don't want to believe the Cawthorn stuff, don't be that person. All we can do is examine the evidence from both parties in each situation and try to develop some unbiased opinions as to whether or not this stuff is true, because we don't know. Word versus word, unless there's some kind of recording, tape, evidence, panties with some stains in it, admissions of chokeholds being applied, Kobe Bryant. But the governor and his special counsel, Beth Garvey, released statements Saturday evening calling for the review from Barbara Jones. Now, that's not Paula Jones, everybody. That's Barbara Jones. Several top Democrats have criticized the move. Former aide Charlotte Bennett accused Cuomo of harassment while working with him during the pandemic. I understood that the governor wanted to sleep with me and felt horribly uncomfortable and scared, Ms Bennett said. Cuomo's second-in-command, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, called for an independent review into the allegations on Saturday, saying, I hope they find him guilty so I can become governor. Nah, she didn't say that. Everyone deserves to have their voice heard and taken seriously. Believe all women except Tara Reid. Bennett said that she initially saw Cuomo as a father figure, telling him that she even played middle school soccer against one of his daughters. Yow. Creepy Cuomo. Maybe. In his statement Saturday, Cuomo described Bennett as a hardworking and valued member of the team during the 19, who he had tried to mentor. No word yet on whether Chris will cover this on his show or if he will talk about Trump. Prominent Democrats have turned their backs on Cuomo after the embattled politician announced the tapping of a former federal judge appointed by Bill Clinton to lead a review into the harassment claims against him. The governor released a statement Saturday promising a review by former federal judge appointed by Clinton, Barbara Jones, into the allegations against him from two former aides. I say that with a smile because Clinton, whenever we hear his name, we know what we think, right? Whenever we hear Trump's name, we think orange. Whenever we hear Bush's name, we think of a guy who pretended to be aloof and stupid. Whenever we hear Obama, what do we think of that? I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I really think of when it comes to him. He's pretty unremarkable as a person. Clinton, obviously the sex. So just bringing somebody into it that was involved in that in any way is just kind of hilarious. But that being said, the allegations do need to be examined and looked into. Cuomo, just like anyone else, deserves to have their voice heard. The lieutenant governor here, Kathy Hochul, said everyone deserves to have their voices heard. Same thing with Madison, same thing with his accusers. Let's get the information out there and hash it out and see what we can figure out, right? Senator Alessandra Biaggi, chair of Committee on Ethics and Internal Governance, called on Cuomo to resign in a stinging rebuke and statement. That's a Democrat right there. As a New Yorker, a legislator, chair of the Senate Ethics and Internal Governance Committee, and a survivor of abuse. Okay, so she played that card. Now, I'm not going to say that it didn't happen, but to play that card, as much as I think Cuomo's a scumbag, and as much as I am pretty sure all of you know that, I still think we just have to chill and let these things come out. Look, the COVID thing, that's totally different. That ship has sailed in terms of how I feel about that. He did what he did. He should be gone already because of that. But this separate thing, pump the brakes a little bit. We have to examine these things. I'm calling for Governor Cuomo to resign, she said, along with her statement. She added, I commend the courage of Ms Bennett and Lindsey Boylan for coming forward. The harassment experienced by these former staffers is part of a clear pattern of abuse and manipulation by the governor, and that pattern makes him unworthy of holding the highest office in New York. Ba-boom! 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 Backed the bus over him, went forward, backed it up again, went forward and backed it up again. Again, we don't know, right? We need to sit back, examine the facts. It makes me question why this individual here, why is she in such a hurry to be out in front of this? Because what if it turns out that these women are lying? Will she then resign her position? Or is it, no. No, I didn't mean anything by that. I was just trying to, allow the supposed victims, I didn't want them to be scared to come forward. I didn't want to teach our future generations of young girls to be scared to come forward. So I was just trying to encourage. She's going all in on this. What if she's wrong? If we're talking career for career here, is she willing to put up as well? Again, like I said, I just kind of question somebody coming out so forcefully, especially a Democrat. Republicans, I get it. Politics is politics. I question what she has to gain from this. Now, in the end, she may be right. And if she is, then this guy here is not going to be complaining at all. I will not be defending Cuomo whatsoever. However, if these things turn out to be false, then we'll be like, okay, well, we still have the COVID thing in Granny, so let's get him out of there anyway. Meanwhile, Democratic Assembly Speaker Carl Heastie said all the allegations of harassment must be taken seriously. A truly independent investigation is warranted. Agreed. New York Senate Majority Leader Andrea Cousins said no when asked if the investigation called for by Cuomo was sufficient, adding that the new allegations were deeply disturbing and concerning. Cousins is calling for Attorney General Letitia James to claim jurisdiction in the issue. And perhaps she's right. Perhaps that would be a better way to go about things. Not somebody that's a swamp dweller tied to the Clintons. Like this, and appointed by Cuomo himself. Yeah, independent definitely, I think, is what needs to happen in this case. Isn't she busy, though, trying to harass Trump over some taxes or something? New York Mayor Hochul, Andrew Yang, called for an aggressive independent investigation, calling for an acknowledgement that harassment has no place in public service. See how he's kind of tiptoeing it there? He's trying to play both sides a little. I mean, obviously, he's more toward the side of seemingly that he thinks that this person's guilty, but at the same time, I think he's playing it linguistically in the sense where, and again, this is just one quote, where he doesn't want to come out and be wrong. Is he really trying to run for mayor of NYC? God, can you imagine that? Could anybody be worse than de Blasio? I don't know, maybe. This is Charlotte here, the younger of the two, the second claim. This is their lieutenant governor there. Soon to be governor is what she's thinking. It's Bennett, the second aide to come forward, claims that on numerous occasions the governor asked her questions about her personal life. Those questions included those that pertained to a romantic relationship between two people of different ages. Bennett said that Cuomo also made comments stating he was open to dating women in their 20s. Yeah, what old guy in their 50s isn't, right? Which she took as overtures to a relationship. The former aide did state that Cuomo never made an attempt to touch her. Interesting. I understood that the governor wanted to sleep with me and felt horribly uncomfortable and scared, Bennett told the New York Times, and was wondering how I was going to get out of it and assumed it was the end of my job. This situation cannot and should not be resolved in the press, Cuomo said in his statement, not denying that he asked her those questions. I believe the best way to get to the truth is through a full and thorough outside review, and I'm directing all state employees to comply with that effort. I ask all New Yorkers to await findings of the review so that they know the facts before they make any judgments. Garvey added, although in no way required by law, the governor has requested an independent review and all staff will cooperate in the endeavor. Former federal judge Barbara Jones will lead the review. This is what he was trying to hit on when he should be sticking with this based on his age. On May 15th, she got to the Capitol at 7 a.m. and soon engaged in a chat with Cuomo about her love life. She told the Times that the governor began gossiping with her about who she had been romantically involved with in the governor's staff. Bennett shared the conversation with other staff members, so those individuals will be interviewed for sure. During the chat, Bennett told Cuomo of a speech she was scheduled to give to Hamilton students about her experience as a survivor of the assault. She said that the governor soon became enamored with her story. The way he was repeating, "You were arped and abused and attacked and assaulted and betrayed," over and over again, while looking directly at me in the eyes, was something out of a horror movie. Oh, baby, you were hard over and over again. Can you imagine that if that's true? What a creep. She said in a text to a friend, "It was like he was testing me." Bennett described the May 15th encounter as the turning point in our relationship. "Anything before it, I now see differently," she said. "I now understand. That is grooming." The former aide shared that 3 weeks later, Cuomo began asking her questions about her love life after they had finished working in his office with another aide who had already left. You see some interesting things here. Who, again, if this is legitimately true, word versus word, unless we have it on recording, who talks to a assault survivor that way? What person is so vile that they talk to somebody that way? If it were somebody, and I've never talked to an assault victim, but say a situation randomly came up where a coworker, a friend, somebody I knew even, started divulging these things to me, I'm not going to be sitting here like, "Oh yeah, girl, tell me all about that betrayal. Oh yeah. Oh, tell me all about it." Come on. What kind of creep does that? No. You sit there and you listen to their story and you be supportive the best way that you can. That's how normal people do it. You don't sit here okay, I just can't deal with that. Let's get into some comments. And this here's Lindsey Boylan. She's the 36-year-old who also accused him. It's the first case. How is it an independent review if he picks the person to lead it? Exactly. Nothing will happen to him. He is too powerful in New York. We'll see about that. As I said, Senator Biaggi, like I talked about above, with her stinging rebuke, it's interesting that she called him out, the Democrats. So we'll see. Maybe things don't work out with this independent hired by Cuomo, but maybe that other side, that more and more Democrats in the state Senate are stepping up and saying, hey, we need to have Letitia James step in. Like they said, no exclusive interview with the governor on CNN tonight. I'm so confident I'm not guilty and have nothing to hide. I'll even go the extra step to handpick the person to investigate me for you. He's a courteous guy, right? He's such a nice guy. Let's wait for the facts to come out. That's all I'm saying. We can dice him up later if it turns out to be true. I think you know how it is in the media. Everybody wants to rush to judgment. Everybody wants the headline. Everybody wants the clickbait, the buzzy title, the salacious details. Let's pump the brakes a little bit and let's see what happened. You know, don't be like those in the media. Don't be like them. Don't be the CNNs of the world. You would think Saturday Night Live would be all over this. It's a hoot. Speaking of all over this, no pun intended, he needs to be held accountable, no special treatment. Since when can you pick your own judge? Cuomo needs to be held properly accountable, resign now, and perhaps he will. But again, as I said, let's just kind of sit back and see what happens. The same thing with Madison Cawthorn. Let's see where that goes. So thanks for watching, everybody. Be well. Have a good Sunday, and hopefully you're having a good week if you're catching this after Sunday. Probably be having a better week than Cuomo. All the best, everybody. Be well.